Happy to be here, and I'm going to read a little bit from this book, Mayor of the Tenderloin. I will read the full subtitle, Del Seymour's Journey from Living on the Streets to Fighting Homelessness in San Francisco. And it took me only 9 years of my life to write this, and we started, and it was the first interview was in December 2015. And in the Tenderloin, and most of the interviews have taken place in the Tenderloin, with a few exceptions. So I'm going to read an excerpt from a chapter about someone else that I interviewed besides Del. I interviewed about 15 other people, I think, and many of them Del introduced me to, and includes this one. And this is about Alonzo. Del claimed repeatedly that no matter what effort he expended for Code Tenderloin, efforts that started at roughly 4 a.m. when he woke up to 8 or 9 p.m. when he usually crashed, he would prefer to sit in his rocking chair on his back porch, he had neither, watching Oprah. But he said he felt hooked by Code Tenderloin's success, and almost addiction. He could not picture stopping until every person in the Tenderloin that wants to work is able to work. Think of basketball, he said. If he played and the ball never went in the hoop, he would quit. But the ball's going in right now with Code Tenderloin. So it's hard to stop. You get a few that miss, but it's also sort of seductive intimately. You're not meeting people on a superficial basis. You're meeting people who are revealing deep things. Perhaps nobody was more surprised about a certain person who decided to take Code Tenderloin classes and turn his life around then. One, Alonzo Fluker. Del described him as my last dealer. When introduced at the Tenderloin corner where he then did most of his business, Alonzo, the hefty African-American in glasses and loose-fitting clothes, carefully shifted to his left hand the cupcake he was eating to shake hands properly with his right. In a basso profundo, he rumbled a few words of greeting. Later, drinking green tea during a long conversation in his parked car near the same corner, Alonzo said that watching Del's walking tours gave him an idea. I thought maybe I could get a job doing a walking tour. I kept asking him. I don't think he believed me or anything. At the time, Del voiced his opinion Alonzo might be good as a tour leader, among other jobs. He could be a retail clerk. He loves people. He loves talking. He could be a vendor at a baseball park. He's a very outgoing guy. But Del remained unconvinced Alonzo was ready for a straight job. Alonzo, though, kept moving in that direction. He felt it was up to him to change his life. You can't better yourself until you deal with your own problems. If you're always looking for somebody to bail you out, it ain't going to work. When Del started Code Tenderloin, holding classes in piano fight steps away from Alonzo's corner, Alonzo paid closer notice. I noticed programs starting up in there. I told Del I really need to get a job fast. As an interim measure, Del introduced Alonzo to his colleague Neil Shaw, who walked Alonzo to a nearby program called Solutions. It trains people to get jobs such as desk clerks in the hospitality industry. Is it still going on?
What's that?
Solutions.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard of them in years.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say not, because I haven't heard of them.
Alonzo made it. When he got his first check, 16 hours, clearing $170, he was so excited he went to show Del the pay stub. He treated himself, too. I bought me a beer, I know that. The reward went beyond the amount. It was good because it's like you're part of society now, Alonzo said. You pay some taxes and stuff like that. It's the beginning of more checks. Actually, the modest pay made Alonzo lose his SSI. They say I make too much money. I don't really make that much, but it's too much money for them. Which is okay. I'm getting more than I was getting when I was coming out here and taking a chance every day. I don't have to worry about losing everything. That's a big relief. What helped Alonzo further was Del accepting him into Code Tenderloin job training, which led to a job as a night security manager at a senior citizens' home. In a typical night, he saw few co-workers, but he lit up describing his work environment. I couldn't have better people to work with. It's one for all and all for one. I love it because that's how I am. Alonzo was such a success story, Del invited him to speak at Code Tenderloin Pizza and Cookies celebration at Piano Fight in September 2016. A long time ago.
Yeah.
An event meant to garner more volunteers and funders. Wearing a large striped T-shirt, Alonzo ambled up to the dark stage and gave a short wave. "Hi, everybody." He would keep it short and sweet, he said. Del had changed my life by getting him a job. He was kind of embarrassed to be up there, he said, pushing his black-rimmed glasses back up his nose. "The program works. It worked for me." In an unusual addendum, he gave thanks to the people who operated the Piano Fight building and therefore made Code Tenderloin possible. He could not have imagined 5 months earlier his life being like it had become. "People like me need help." At that he shrugged, looking self-conscious. He said he knew jobs did not come knocking on doors, yet Del had knocked on his door. A voice came from the audience. It was Del, standing, pointing, his cell phone as usual in his left hand, saying Alonzo needed to take credit that he had knocked on the door. After more jostling between the two and audience applause toward both, Alonzo became emotionally intimate. He is a sensitive person, he said, and had never been in a work world like the one he had entered. He was going through a lot of changes for the better and learning to be more professional. "I'm not even near stopping," he said. Because of how Code Tenderloin helped him, he added, he recommended the program to everyone. He even brought in one of his, quote, partners from the streets, unquote, someone now working a straight job. That brought another burst of applause. Then came Alonzo's conclusion. At 54 years of age, he said his life has been hard and is sometimes lonely, but added, "If I can prevent one person from going through the things I went through, I think I'd be ready to go to heaven." This time the applause lifted him off the stage. Sound familiar?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, most of that I don't remember. That's been 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't, at my age right now with my mental instability, I don't remember what I did yesterday. And I know I share that. I was, some medical places this week sitting with other veterans, and, we sit in places like this and we chit-chat. So I share my memory ailment with other folks. So I don't feel like I'm the guy that don't have my own memory. I'm just, just a person of my age. That's all. And I don't trip. I know I'm not 16 anymore, and I don't want to be 16 anymore because I didn't like it then. So I'm just trying to fall in love with my age that I am now, and which I'm good with.
Good. And do you want to tell the people here a little more about Code Tenderloin or about Alonzo and how Code Tenderloin, which is a free jobs training program that Del started and actually started just a few months before we first met. Someone was asking me about it a couple nights ago, and I said, well, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, that's nice. But I was asking Del about his life. And then as these interviews went on, year after year after year, Code Tenderloin started taking off.
So just, I just devised this on a very, very simple plan. Is that at the time that we started Code Tenderloin, the police chief and the existing mayor and the police chief had gotten into doing heavy sweeps and enforcements of drug use on our corners. And I decided that wouldn't it be better to have HR on that corner than the PD? Because the thing that people are on, no one wants to be on that corner. You may think, oh, look at all those dope dealers on the corner. They don't want to be out there. But you know what? They need Nikes just like you have on your feet. They need to pay their PG&E bill at home just like you need to pay your PG&E bill. But they don't have the opportunities a typical person has to walk into Walgreens or Safeway or McDonald's. I can challenge anybody here in this room tonight to go to a McDonald's in the city of San Francisco and find a black employee. I'll challenge anyone in this room tonight to go to any Walgreens in the city of San Francisco and show me a black employee. You won't, and I can save you your time, you won't. And that's just one example of how these people who are on the corner and we look at as drug dealers have to compete or they have families too. They have to buy Pampers, just like your granddaughter has to buy Pampers. kind of sparred with Mayor Breed on one incident when I was at an event we were both speaking at. And I said, when you go past Market and Jones Street, you see a whole bunch of young black men selling dope. And she was sitting right there when I said this. And I says, when I go by Market and Jones, I see a whole bunch of young black men at work. Not the kind of work I would recommend, not the kind of work that's legal, but they have to take that as their job because they can't get into Twitter. They can't get into Walgreens. They can't get into Subaru. So they have to do something no different than it's called hustle. Now, I'm not trying to condone drug dealing at all in any kind of way, shape, fashion, or form. I'm trying to explain it. And that's not the case for everyone out there. Some are out there for just the greed. But these kids you see stand on the corner, and you all or me or Alison will call dope dealers, they're dope peddlers because they're taking home $40 a day. At the end of the day, when they look at people that's run off with their money, that they gave credit to, or they got a batch of bad product, they wind up with about $40 a day average. So they ain't making no money out there. But they're able to put Pampers on their baby's butt. So again, I hope that kind of explains why I started Cold Tenderloin, because I wanted to change their focus. These kids and adults are out there at 7 o'clock every morning. 7 o'clock, they're right there. So they got their job showing up down. You know, they're marketing, they know how to deal their products. So they have got marketing skills. They got customer service skills because they kind of compete against each other. So they try to make your dope buying experience the nicest as can be. So they've learned a lot of those basic things we have to learn in any job. So that's a good thing. And I've used that one corner, Eddie and Taylor, I cleaned that corner up completely. Everybody eventually, one by one, came into Cold Tenderloin. And now they're still working. I got people who've been working out there now 10 years, still on their job, that we took them off their block. And they didn't realize that, they didn't realize what that guaranteed paycheck is every week. All they got to do is show up. And they got vacation. They got sick pay. They got legitimate money. They can go and brag to their neighbors. Hey, I work at Beckett or wherever. That's the brag, because before they couldn't tell their neighbors where they work, or their moms, or their pastor. So this gave them the chance to do some legitimate things in life. And they found out they didn't think they could work for 40 hours a week, and especially working for somebody else. Mm-hmm. If any of you all are independently workers, you know the difference between an independent person and working for somebody. It's a big difference. I mean, it's an amazing difference when you have to listen to someone who's in a bad mood telling you, go sweep up this floor. And all you can say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. That's a big difference than when you're working for yourself. You sweep the floor whenever you want. Just simple things like that, it takes a lot of education to these folks to make them understand what a boss is. Because they've had a lot of things in life, but they've never had a boss. They've heard about a boss. They see it on TV. And on TV, the boss is always the guy that, hey, let's go have a beer after work. And, let's go fishing this weekend. I don't know no bosses like that. And the thing is, when a boss is really no different than dealing with a partner sometimes. You all wake up at the house in the morning and she's in a bad mood. And you can't get her out of that bad mood. And it'll go on all day. Or him. You can't get him out of the bad mood. And it just goes on all day. And you can't get rid of her because y'all live in the same house. So you got to stay there and take it. Same with the job. The boss will come in and after having a bad night at home. Or he come in and check the books and he's $6,000 in arrear in his spreadsheet. And you got to deal with his attitude all day because he's the boss. Mm-hmm. So things like that, and he has nothing personally against you. My people call me and say, Dale, why is he mad at me? I say, he's not mad at you. He's just having a bad day. And he's maybe taking it out on you, but he's not mad at you. You haven't done nothing wrong. You just there, and he can vent on somebody. He's going to vent on you. Hey, why did I tell you to put that book up there last week? That gives him some relief of what he's going through with his balance sheet. And sometimes that's hard to explain to my people at the beginning because they still don't understand, why are you yelling at me? Because one thing about being yelled at on the job, our survival thing on the streets of San Francisco, Chicago, Memphis, or wherever, you don't raise your voice at me. If you raise your voice at me, I'm going to raise my voice. And pretty soon we're going to be pulling stuff out of our pockets. So when the boss raises their voice, it starts to escalate. So we have to work on getting them to understand you don't escalate with a boss. Because if you think you're going to win that fight, you go outside and see whose name is on that building. And if it's your name, you won the fight. If it's his name, he wins the fight automatically. And just look at your watch, say, I only got another hour and a half to deal with this man, and go home and leave it at work. Leave your boss at work. Believe me, your girl, your dude, your dog don't want to hear that boss story. They may sit there and smile, okay. They don't want to hear that. Leave it at work, because otherwise you might as well stay punched in. Because if you go home and spread your terrible day with your wife, your boyfriend, it just extends your day at work. Leave that at work. It'll be there in the morning when you get there.
I think you've been given that advice for years and years and years.
Yeah, I have.
For people in Code Tenderloin who obviously, as Del was saying, are not used to working for anyone but themselves. And I want to just add that in Code Tenderloin, in addition to welcoming people off the streets who had been dealers, Code Tenderloin is also pretty well known, I think increasingly known, for taking ex-felons and getting them jobs too. And that's a whole other challenge, I'd say, but one that's, wouldn't you say it's worked out pretty well?
Yeah, we don't look at it as a challenge because it's been so amazingly successful. Our ex-offenders, 3 of my top directors at Code Tenderloin are lifers. They were on not on death row, but they was on life row, and they were able to get their sentences commuted. The minimum they did was 40 years.
Whoa.
So they spent a lot of time in there. Those are my top people. They all share the same sentiment individually when they come to me. Dale, I don't want to go back. I'll do anything you ask me to do. I don't want to go back. And man, they prove that they believe in that. They show up every day. They know they're very disciplined, never talk back. Even if they don't agree with me, and I know they don't, I can see in their face they don't agree, but then yes sir, I'll do whatever you want me to, Dale. Whether the people that aren't ex-offenders, they're like any other employee. Well, I don't think I want to do this. So it's been very successful dealing with the ex-offenders.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder if you might want to say something about how you, because I know you'll be asked this if I don't, how you feel Mayor Lurie is doing in comparison to Mayor Breed.
I'm not comparing 2 mayors.
Okay.
I'll just speak on one. That's Mayor Lurie, who I've been knowing for 10 years. He's a personal friend and a supporter of Code Tenderloin. He donated to us years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he's doing some very unique things here in San Francisco, some things that other cities in the United States have been afraid to do. He's putting a lot of effort into cleaning up our streets, and it's sustained effort. He and I talked. I was with him yesterday for about an hour yesterday, and we talk all the time about strategy and projects. And he is, and I hope that he's taking some of my words, because it looks like he's doing a lot of things. He never lets you know he's agreeing with you. He goes, okay, Dale. Okay, Dale. So he never said, okay, Dale, I like that. Dale, well, I don't think we want to. He just, okay. So you never know what he's taking in, or you never know what he's getting rid of. But some of the things I've asked him to do, he seems to be doing, whether it's because of me or someone else or whatever. And I'm glad to see that happen. I was just talking to a documentary maker who talked to the mayor yesterday, the day before, and the mayor made a statement to him that homelessness cannot be ended. It can only be managed. And that's my statement that I made to Daniel years ago, and he's finally using it. He didn't use it in front of me, but he's finally using it. I'm glad he did. And that's an important thing with me, that we go on these, a lot of other mayors around town, around the country, and our supervisors and our senators and congressmen will come in office. We're going to end homelessness. And I said, no, you're not, clown. You're a clown. For you to say that, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because homelessness is not something you can just end. If we house every person by 8 o'clock tonight in San Francisco, got them bedded down, got blankets and sheets, we say, oh my God, we got everyone housed. That Greyhound's coming from Seattle in about 20 minutes with 38 more people. So it's just constantly, we'll always have homelessness. It's how we manage it. That's going to make the big difference to people like you, people like me, and to our unhoused community. It's management of it. You know, we got 12,000 unhoused people in the city of San Francisco, unofficially, because official records are not correct at all.
It's half that, right? They say like 6,000.
Yeah, because they're making the city look good. But you can't go out there tonight and house 12,000 people. You can't do it. Impossible. If you brought the whoever, you can't do it. But you know what we can do? We can go out there tonight and house 12 people. And house 12 more tomorrow. And house 12 more the next day. And we could actually house 12 people a day. We got enough resources, staff, and money to do it successfully. We want to take people from A to Z, not A to B. Because we want to come home at night and say, yeah, we just interacted with 360 people today. But what did you do for them? Gave them a little conversation, gave them a hug, gave them a candy bar. But we did 360 people, but you didn't do nothing for them. Let's do 12 people and put them in the permanent housing tonight. We got the housing, we got the staff, and we got the money. Rather than put all our resources out to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do wrong.
And Del has pointed out sometimes when people go around to talk to people who are unsheltered, they don't necessarily even ask their names. They don't meet them person to person. It's more as if they're on high and the person is on low, and they don't interact. They don't find out if they're married, if they have children. They don't find out what their problems are. They just maybe act sympathetic, and that doesn't help a whole lot. And the main thing I think you have said, among other things, is ask your name, and the most tactile thing is offering a pair of socks.
You can go out there tonight and meet an unhoused person, and you might be interested in their welfare, that person that just got into your spirit for some reason, and you really want to know a little about them. Person has never met you before. They don't know you. They're not going to tell you the truth or the real facts for maybe an hour or 2 hours, or maybe not till the next day. I can't go and talk to you. We're sort of strangers. And in 10 minutes, you ain't going to tell me nothing in 10 minutes. Because you don't know me. You don't know me, I don't know you. So it's going to take a while. So why do we expect the homeless are just going to completely open up to a complete stranger with a uniform on and tell their whole life story? Or tell what they're really going through? You're not going to do it. You got to sit there and have a conversation. Take them out to lunch. Take them to the library, bring them to a bookstore. And sit there with them. And finally, let me tell you what I'm really going through. My daughter's in child protection. My son is taken over by his father. The house burned down. I just got out of jail. Because in order for you to help someone, I got to know what situation they are. I got to know if they're ex-felon. I got to know if they're LGBT. I got to know if they're a veteran. I got to know where their kids are, because it's different avenues of help I can give them depending on who they are and their profile. And I can't do that in 5 or 10 minutes. And that's what the city, San Francisco, we're changing that day by day, is expecting that we go out and spend 10 minutes with someone and solve their problems. Can't do it.
And yet even an acknowledgement of humanity is worth more than just walking by and not saying anything. Would you agree?
Yeah, just recognizing that's a human being,
Yeah.
not a fire plug, not a shrub, not a parking meter, but a human being. Someone's cousin, someone's daddy, someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's niece. That person may have all of those titles. Give them respect for that. Yeah, they may be a dope fiend, they may be a junkie, homeless man wanted by the police, but they're still an uncle and a daughter and a son for somebody. They're all human beings.
You willing to take a few questions?
Sure, whatever they did.
Okay. I do want to say, when you were mentioning Mayor Lurie, I asked Del if Mayor Lurie knew about the book, and Del told me that he offered to give Mayor Lurie a copy, and Mayor Lurie said, music to my ears, I already bought one,
Yeah.
which is nice, and I'm hoping that maybe will influence him a little more toward your way of thinking too, if he's read it. I mean, buying it and reading it is two different things. Yeah.
I'm sure he hasn't. This man is so busy. He's still in his honeymoon, but he's everywhere. I don't see how he does it. I used to envy Mayor Breed, how she could show up at everything. This man shows up twice as many events as she does. He spends no time in his office. But and that's on purpose, because what he did, he's established his deputy. We can't legally call them deputy mayors because it's not in our charter, but he's established these deputy mayors, and they're all assigned to a different area of expertise. And they're handling it pretty well. They're making mistakes, but one thing about them, they admit to making mistakes. The community guy, I can't remember his name, Modelli. He's made some mistakes, big time mistakes, but he's working on. I mean, that's what you do as a politician. That's what you do as a leader. As a leader, Eisenhower made mistakes. One of the best leaders in the history of the world. So that's part of being bold and taking steps that maybe no one else would ever take. Anytime when Eisenhower, and I don't know if you all know Omar Bradley.
Sure.
He was
not intimately.
the number 3 general in the world, United States general. I was able to, long story short, I was able to have a conversation with him after I got out of the service. And one thing he told me, that Eisenhower was the boldest man he's ever met, because he had one small window of opportunity to bring those ships in at Normandy. And it was a 12-minute window that if you didn't make it in these 12 minutes with the clouds coming in and the sunlight just right, he was going to sacrifice every one of those men. And he made the decision, we're going to do it. So yeah, leaders have to make decisions, and I'm proud of Mayor Lurie for making decisions. I'm proud of him for making that phone call with, they still don't know who called who, but the phone call with the White House that was uniquely successful.
You don't think we need to have the National Guard here?
That's not their job. They don't want to do it.
I know.
Yeah,
you know
that's
I'm
not
being
their job.
facetious.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to ask a question, a shouted question?
Yeah, can I ask, at what point did you decide, how natural was it to start helping people instead of paying attention to your own situation first?
It turned out to be therapy for me. I needed a distraction, because initially I was in drug recovery, still in recovery theoretically. I was in recovery and I needed a distraction. Once I got strong enough to come back to the Tenderloin, because it took me some months I left the Tenderloin when I went into recovery. I didn't want to push the button, okay? And then when I felt strong enough to come back to the Tenderloin, that was a great distraction. I on purpose made myself a role model for my community, on purpose. I didn't let the community do it. I did it. I pushed the buttons. And the reason I did, because I used all kind of tricks. This was one of the tricks. I put me in a situation where I couldn't do wrong. because I got everyone in this damn community looking up to me. So I couldn't mess up. If I was just in there on the undercover and just doing little things around, I could mess up, disappear for 2 weeks on a drug vacation, and no one would ever know. But instead, I put myself in the spotlight. So I couldn't run away. I couldn't go to a dope dealer and say, hey, man, give me one. Wait a minute, that's Dale. So I put myself, and some people recover, well, Dale, that's cheating. Yeah, it was cheating. Yeah, I cheated. Yeah, so what? Sue me. I ain't got no money. But the fact is that there's all different schemes or ways to maintain your recovery, and that was what I chose to do.
Well, and actually, you did go to a couple of dealers at one point, and he refused to give you drugs because he knew that you were on this other road to recovery, and he didn't want. I don't know if it was Alonzo or somebody else.
I don't remember that part.
Okay.
I don't remember that happening. It was just the other way around. That the dealers, I would walk past and, hey, Dale, here, just take this, man. I said, I'm clean. Oh, you bullshit. You full of shit. You're not clean. Yes, I am clean. So it took almost a year for the dealers to say, I would walk by and a new dealer would come up, hey, man, you want something? Hey, that's Dale, leave him alone. He don't use no more.
That's what I was
thinking.
He don't
use no more. Yeah. So it was just backwards how you said it. Yeah, so it took a while before the community, because even when I was dealing drugs, if someone came who I sold drugs to tonight, and then tomorrow I see you pass by, here, man, no, I'm clean. No, you're not. You was just using last night. Here, take this. Pay me later. That's how you keep people on drugs. So it happened to me, and I was just, so determined not to continue this way of living.
Did you grow up in the city?
No, I grew up in Chicago, South Side.
Came here at what age?
I came here in 85-ish. So that's, how long ago was that? 35 years. So I was in my 30s. Yeah, 30s or early 40s maybe. Yeah. It didn't snow. Yeah, I stopped in LA for some years, and which I love LA. Then I moved up because my kids moved up here, and I moved here with my kids.
And Del was in the East Bay, near where they were, and decided to try the Tenderloin because he heard it was big for sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And in the book, he describes came over on the freeway one night and got some crack in the Tenderloin, and a month later was sleeping under the same freeway. That's how you put it anyway. It's maybe a little poetic license in there, but it was a fast descent. And it was unusual from what I've read in that Del was, I think you were around 40 when it happened, and it often happens with much, much younger people.
So actually, I never even heard of the word Tenderloin. And I was just coming to San Francisco and saw a parking spot, just parked the car. Happened to be in the Tenderloin on 6th Street. It was a bar I think I first went to, and it's still there, but it's a nightclub now. But it was on 6th, right between Mission and Market. And I never even heard the word Tenderloin.
Oh.
Never heard of it in my life.
So you went to prison for a stretch and then came out and got clean?
Well, I was in and out of jail for a long time. And we were just talking about that tonight. I just left a documentary screening, a drug documentary screening by Tara Campbell from the Channel 7. She just brought a new documentary out about mothers against drug use, and we were talking about that at that time. But I mean, I didn't know anything about the town. I thought they were shooting a movie because being from LA, where they shoot movies on every block, 24 hours a day, anywhere you go in LA, within 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna see someone shooting a movie. I mean, I'm not talking about no iPhone movie. I'm talking about with the big production trucks and the movie star vans and all of that. So I thought they were shooting a movie because I couldn't believe this. You all been to Tenderloin lately. You know how the Tenderloin looks. It doesn't look real. It's just like someone's getting ready to shoot a movie, a B movie or a C movie.
Anything else anyone wants to ask? Your big chance here. Well, let me ask you something that I haven't really asked before, but Dell has been so helpful and patient. I refer to you as patiently impatient.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to me for years and years and years about some difficult subjects about the book, and I have a sense of why. I mean, we both had different motives. Dell wanted to, in a phrase, he wanted to be helpful to people who could use the book and show that there's recovery. And I wanted to open up the world of people who were homeless to people who were not homeless, to see if they would be a little more proactive in helping one way or the other, whether it's voting for a homeless shelter in their community or however they could help. But what I never quite understood is how come you're always also so helpful in promoting the book, because you don't have to be here. And I was thinking you're doing it partly to spread the word about issues in San Francisco. Maybe you're doing it because you enjoy it. Maybe you're trying to help me out for having done all this work, but I don't really know. So I'd be curious.
I actually do it for what's going on right now, the Q&A, because this helps me. You know, I chair the homeless board at City Hall. I've been the chairman for 12 years under several mayors. And it helps me when I set policy and I set governments to hear from people that don't live in the Tenderloin, to hear from people what your ideas of homelessness is, to hear what you think, to hear what your descriptions of dealing with unhoused, and listen to your suggestions. And I'll take them back to my board. So it gives me a chance to hear someone from out the box, because it's so easy and convenient to listen to people, housed people in the Tenderloin talk to me about the unhoused. But it's good to hear from you all. You know, I don't live in the Tenderloin anymore. I moved a few years ago to the East Bay, and I live in a very nice neighborhood. I just felt like I deserved to go home at night and have my own peace. And we have homeless issues, and there's homeless camps outside the White House. But I mean, every community has own, and it's different when I'm over there, and I'm not the homeless advocate. I take my hat off in the middle of the bridge. It's different how I deal with the homeless, and I try to say, if you ask me right now how I would deal with the homeless across the street from my house, I would tell you as Dale Seymour. But unfortunately, when I go home and that situation comes up, I'm not sure if I'm the same person. And that bothers me. Am I switching up? Am I just talking to you all and giving you all this bullshit? And then I go home and dial 911 when I see a tent? I got to ensure that I don't do that. So it's interesting for me to hear from you all how you handle your house in your non-typical neighborhood, or non-homeless typical neighborhood. I need to hear how honestly how you handle it. So that gives me a lot of knowledge for myself when I go home and encounter that at my house. Fortunately, 5 blocks away from my house, we have the largest homeless, by the county of Alameda, the largest homeless facility in the county. So it's easy for me to refer somebody. I know people down there I can call and get people a ride anytime I want. And it's always open, they always have beds for people. Wow. So it makes it easy for me. And over here, and even though who I am in the city, it takes me a stretch to get someone a bed. Like right now, if someone outside needed a bed, it would be right down at 8 o'clock at night in Glen Park. It would be hard for me to get somebody out here to house them. Where over in my neighborhood, I could do it 24 hours a day. And that's where we would like to get to, the situation. Right now, I'm running my Code Tenderloin vans. I got 3 vans. We're running them 22 hours a day each.
Wow.
Picking up people, taking them to shelters, taking them to the emergency rooms, taking them to their parents' house. And that's what we're trying, and we been doing it in the Tenderloin. We started in Bayview Hunters Point a month ago, and this coming Monday we're starting in the Mission. So this is the idea for, we was trying to explain to the mayor how we need to increase this particular, it's a personalized service where we will take you and get you, if you're ready, just wave us down and we'll pull over and take you wherever you want to go.
And this has just been going on for how long? The code?
With the vans,
Yeah.
maybe a year and a half. Our first van, St. Francis Hospital donated us almost a brand new Mercedes van, past a 12-passenger van. And now Department of Public Health just gave us 2 more.
And they really patrol, so to speak, the Tenderloin and the Mission, at least that I know of, until what, like 3 in the morning?
3 or
Something?
4, I don't know what time they go back and forth.
And help people and connect them sometimes with doctors and help them get Narcan if that's what's needed.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility, and it's gone way beyond Dell's initial idea of a free job training program. So Code Tenderloin is, I'd say, keeps expanding.
Yeah, it does. It does. And we're going to Oakland soon. We're working on negotiations with Oakland right now.
Huh.
So we will be in Oakland soon. But we want to set a model. We're only 12 years old as far as Tenderloin Walking Tours and other organizations. We're 20 years old. But Code Tenderloin is about 11 to 12 years old. And we're still too young to really be the expert on it. But soon we want to be able to take this model to other cities and offer it. We don't want to go and run it and offer it to it, because I don't believe in somebody from Boston coming here running San Francisco's homeless program or vice versa. You got to intimately know this city. This is a very unique city. And you got to intimately know it to run it.
So are there neighborhoods around the city that are kind of open to what you're doing and getting, like, I don't know what to do with somebody if they're on the street in front of the place, you know? I just kind of try to be polite and, you know, there's not much more I feel like I can do.
Well,
So are there places that really kind of are calling on the resources that the city has to offer?
sooner or later you'll be able to call a van like ours here in Glen Park to come and deal with it. In the meantime, all you can do is that's your sidewalk out there. A lot of people think that's a city sidewalk. That's your sidewalk. I mean, you share responsibilities of that slab, but basically it's your sidewalk, and you have to be a good steward of your property. And that's what a lot of business owners don't do. Well, that's a police problem. No, it's not. And the way that I recommend people do it, and it seems to work most of the time, it don't work all the time, is go out and make a friend. Go up to the corner and get a banana or apple or a milkshake and come down here, man. Don't ask them for nothing right now. And then an hour later after you get in the milk, hey, can you move up? You know, I'm getting ready to open at 9 o'clock. And you can't in the way of my customers. They're elderly, they may trip. Can I get you to move down the street? I guarantee you that guy will say, yes, sir. And then, you know, it costs you $4. You're not only giving the guy a milkshake, but you made a friend. And he'll come by here and see someone else laying out here. Hey, man, get away from my friend's store. And it works all the time in the Tenderloin. It's $4.
And the appreciation is astonishing, as Del knows. I can just tell you a tiny story from the other night. There was someone, I live in Pacific Heights in a small rental, and around the corner, I mean, it's some fancy houses and some fancy deserted storefronts. And a guy was completely shrouded in a couple blankets in a storefront with a little box out in front of him, a little cardboard box. And I assumed, I saw what looked like men's shoes, so I figured it was a man, and I figured he was sleeping. And I just reached in my pocket. I just happened to have a couple of quarters, and I just put him in the box, and it didn't say anything. And to my surprise, from this blankets, he said, "Thank you very much." And he was there. He knew what was happening. And I said, "Well, thank you." I mean, without even seeing each other's face. But I keep getting reminded, which I have learned more from Del than from anybody, but I like to think I had the impulse initially, these are indeed individual human beings and could be related to any of us in many, many ways. And don't forget your number one choice for a gift, which is a pair of clean socks. Right?
Pair of clean socks. That's one of the most appreciated items that you can give someone unhoused. I mean, you can give them a pair of pants, but you know, you can wear your pants, and people do, for weeks, maybe even months. You can wear a shirt for weeks, maybe even months. Man, you can't wear your socks. After about a week, they're going to stand up by themselves. So when you get someone a fresh pair of socks, don't have to be new. You know, we have that thing that we do as maybe junior hoarders. That stuff we don't want, we just push back in the drawer. Or in the closet, just push it to the back of the closet. You ladies and men will go to Target or H&M and see that beautiful dress. Lord, this is cute. I can't wait to wear this. And you take it home and you look at it home. For some reason, it don't look like it did when you was at H&M. So you know what you do with it? You put it on the rack and push it to the back of the closet. And you don't see it for years. You don't want to see it. Bring that to the Tenderloin. We'll wear it. Bring it to the Tenderloin. All that stuff you keep pushing back, you know you're not going to ever wear it. Oh, well, I bought this at H&M last year. Well, you're not going to wear it because you ain't wore it yet. Mm-hmm. Bring it to the Tenderloin. Let one of my girls wear it. It's San Francisco, let one of my guys wear it. Bring it to the Tenderloin.
Actually, Code Tenderloin does have a clothing distribution setup, more or less.
We do.
Yeah. Well, any more questions, or should we just thank you for coming?
Yeah, this is a cool evening. I guess it's always cool like this out here, maybe, huh? But
we're freezing, but thank you.
Yeah, okay. But thank you for taking your time to come for a subject that you may not even deal with every day, or maybe once a year, or maybe every day. I don't know. I don't know what your lives are. But for a subject like this, it impresses me that you come here to listen to the plight of someone that you don't even know. Excuse me, the plight of a whole...
We know you.
Okay.
That name
I like that part. I like that part.
Well, we're very grateful for coming out.
And I want to thank you so much for hosting us.
Yes, thank you very much, Bert and Beckett. Wonderful place.
I was telling them when I came in, I read that article in the Chronicle. I think it was last week about your place. Was it last week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and I never even heard of.
I think I sent it to you. Yeah, and
maybe
they're so hip and cool.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Today's
this is the hippest, coolest place.
well. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, I was in front of the BART station and I asked a guy just getting out the train. I said, "You know where Bert and Beckett is?" And he walked me down. He could be your promotion agent. I mean, he was just telling me about the jazz nights and the festivals and what you all do. And man, he could be. Maybe he was your promo agent, but he could definitely be that.
My own band down at the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, really, we appreciate it so much. Appreciate the work you do.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna keep
Thank
doing
you.
it.
Appreciate you getting on it and understanding it and writing it out.
Yeah, she did a wonderful job with it. I get calls every day about the book. That's
Well,
someone's
thank
read
you.
it.
I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Let's
Try to
make
keep in touch with you. Everybody here can manage that.
Okay.
okay.
I guess you're easy to find.
Yeah.
We're
Just Google me. My phone number,
we're
everything
both
is on
easy
there.
to find. Too easy. No.
Okay. Have a
Okay.
good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if you want us to sign any books, we're ready.
Got a pen?
Two
I got a
left-handers.
pen. Yeah. Okay, I can go sign it because I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay.
Get on that freeway.
Oh boy.